Sorry for the delays. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Marinka Rojas Gorgon. I am the president of NAAAP San Jose. With us today also is Nick Yip, our Chief Programs Officer, and Susie Willems-Garams, our Community Outreach Officer. Really excited for today's event. Thank you all for joining us. This is being recorded, and we're also doing this as a Facebook Live. So we'll see how that turns out. This is the first time we're trying to do it. So just a couple of things about NAAAP real quick. The National Association of Asian American Professionals. We are the premier Pan-Asian and Pan-Professional leadership organization, meaning we're not just one Asian culture, so we're not just Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, Indian, we're a mix of all types of Asian. And also as Pan-Professional, we're a number of different types of, to name the profession, we probably have members in it. So biomed, tech, engineering, education, healthcare, realty. We have quite a few different professionals as well as government members as well. We were founded almost 40 years ago as a result of the Vincent Chin murder, which was unfortunately 2 days ago. Was the anniversary of that in 1983. Name a major city, we probably have a chapter there. In the US, Canada, and also in Xiamen, China. And also on the slide, we've got a number of different ways that you can interact with us between our website, our email address, Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. Some things that we do at NAAAP. We're all about leadership development, networking, and community service. We also have a specific set of programs specifically for women in NAAAP. We have a self-care and wellness by NAAAP, this is part of that. We're also very, very excited about our NAAAP Pride program, which just started last year. We do things like panels, workshops. A few weeks ago, we actually did a couple of months now, we did a really cool thing with George Takei, Leah Salonga, with another one of our partners out in Minnesota. Some really important upcoming things that we're doing. NAAAP is one of the supporters of the APIA Vote. This is an organization that really tries to help get more Asians involved in actually getting out and voting. We're doing our second presidential town hall. Our first one was done in 2016. The 2021 is coming up. And we are super excited because we just got word that Vice President Joe Biden will be one of our speakers. We have a representative from the Trump campaign, as well as some other newsworthy people who are also going to be part of this event. There's still time to sign up for it. It's happening shortly, but get involved. It's going to be a really exciting event this year. One more exciting event we've got coming up is on June 30th. Our NAAAP Pride group is putting on a presentation about Black, Asian, and queer, the intersection of being and belonging to biracial America. It's going to be a very interesting conversation with all the information going on around Black Lives Matter, and it also being Pride Month. They did a really great combination of the two issues into one program. So definitely, please take a look at it. Sign up. You can go to our website or also our Facebook page for either of those events. And so with that, let me introduce Nick, who will then be introducing both of our speakers.
Good evening, guys. I'd like to welcome you to our event here. And I'm going to introduce the first speaker of the evening will be Miss Charlene Wong. And just a little bit about her. She's the former Miss Asian America out in San Francisco. And she's the CEO, founder, and dietitian nutritionist of ARIC, Nutrition and Wellness. From the San Francisco Bay Area, and a native and a professor of nutrition, health, and wellness, and she hosts a lot of classes and a lot of retreats for many different companies throughout Colorado and out the West Coast as well too, and is a contributing writer for Doctors Quarterly magazine. Here she is, Charlene Wong.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen. Let's get started. All right, good evening, and I welcome you all to this seminar with great love and respect. I'm Charlene, and I'm really excited to be teaching you all some nutrition basics on how to boost your immune system during a pandemic. Now, my goal is to make this webinar as simple and straightforward as possible and fun, because that's what life is all about. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I specialize in, my story of how I got to where I am, because I didn't always start off in healthcare. I had a very different lifestyle, and I'll tell you all about that. And then I'm going to give you a 3-question self-pop quiz. So make sure you've got a pad of paper and a pen and your phone, because you're going to be doing some calculations. I'm going to go over some really basic nutrition guidelines just to have a strong foundation. And it might seem very common sense for many of you, but the point with COVID-19 is a lot of us aren't even following the basic guidelines that build the foundation for good health. Then I'm going to get into the superfoods and supplements that we all need to keep our eye on and to keep taking through until COVID-19 is out of the picture. And lastly, I have a little promotion with my nutrition packages for your viewers. I do have a handout available. Nick and Marika, perhaps they can hand it to, send it to you after the webinar is done, and it's a summary of everything that I've discussed. All right, so if you had told me prior to 2007 that I was going to become everything you see on this list, I probably wouldn't have believed you, because not that this position is so fun and fulfilling, but pre-2007, I was a different person. It wasn't aligned with my goals. Long story short, I worked in finance. I had a very, very stressful job. I didn't eat well. I didn't exercise. I didn't sleep well. I was just in horrible shape. It's kind of embarrassing, but just to give you an example, when I come home really late at night and would need a snack, I would eat something like ramen, okay? So fast forward to nutrition today, that's like complete embarrassment. In 2007, I found a lump on my leg, and the doctor surgically removed it and diagnosed me with cancer. So at that point, I realized, you know, what am I going to do now? And my whole world shattered, and I realized I can't just sit here and be a victim and wait for my expiration date to come sooner. So I decided to be proactive about it. This kind of cancer was very aggressive. It comes back every few years, and my mom's boss even had this same kind of rare cancer, and every few years he would have more and more of his back surgically removed. So just sitting with that thought scared me, and I wanted to become empowered and be proactive about this. So I jumped into just about everything holistic that you can think of: Chinese medicine, herbalism, yoga, meditation, holistic nutrition, forest baths, energy healing. And I changed the way I lived, the way I thought. And for the first time in my life, I had never felt so good. I was sleeping better. My mood shift from depressed and sad about the cancer to optimistic, confident, comfortable in my own skin. And my digestion improved, my energy levels increased and remained even keeled. And it was just by practicing these holistic modalities that have existed for thousands of years that you won't often hear your doctor recommend. So one night while I was meditating, I got this insight that my biopsy needed to be challenged. So I sent not one, but 3 biopsy samples to the largest cancer centers in the United States. And I remember sending them off thinking, if this is a mistake, I have a chance to recreate my whole life. It's like a second chance, a second life. And if that's the case, then I'm going to change my life. And I think I'm going to dedicate my life to being a promoter of holistic health. And lo and behold, it was a misdiagnosis. I got my second chance in life. So I quit my job. I broke up with my fiance. I moved to a different city. I went to grad school, and then I moved to Colorado for my dietetic residency and opened up my practice. And so lo and behold, here I am today, completely different person. I felt that was not a mistake. That was an intervention that needed to happen in order for me to have a very fulfilling and healthy life. At my practice, I specialize in anything related to food and herbalism. Now, the first thing I focus on when someone comes in is their digestion. Any Chinese practitioner, traditional Chinese medicine practitioner you go to, first thing they're going to look at is your digestion, or also known as your second brain. Your digestion, if you think about it, is the way you get energy. It's the way nutrition is processed in the body. It energizes the body. Also, you have millions of neurons that start from the, end at the gut and go all the way up to the brain. So that's why it's called the second brain. That's why they say follow your gut instincts, etc. I work on the gut first, and then I focus on everything else you see under the specialty list. The results can be very different depending on what your chief complaint is and what our goals are. I work one-on-one with people and with corporations and organizations. Okay. Get your pen or paper. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. There is no one's going to see your answers. It's just for your knowledge. I want number one, how many cups of water do you drink on a daily basis? Now that can include juice, milk, soup. So just take a guesstimate, write it down. Coffee, energy drinks, caffeinated tea do not count towards your water intake. And when you're done with that answer, number two is how many cups of coffee and tea do you drink? Now, 1 cup is considered 8 ounces, all right? Some people come in and say, oh, I drink just 2 cups, and it turns out to be 4 cups when we go, when I investigate how many ounces. Okay, third question, how many servings or cups of fruits and vegetables total are you getting on a daily basis? Juice does not count here, folks. All right, save those answers. We'll be comparing them to the recommended amount in just a moment. Now, I want to talk about hydration and why it's so important for everyday life, but also for during a pandemic. So here's a couple of statistics. You all are mainly water. Over 70% of you is water. Your blood is over 80% of water, which is why if you are dehydrated, that is one factor that can increase your blood pressure and your heart rate. So if you or anybody you know has high blood pressure, you got to make sure that they cover the factor of hydration. Your brain is over 75% water. The remaining 25% is pure cholesterol. Your brain is all fat, which is why you have to make sure you eat enough healthy fats, because that is what your brain is composed of. Your liver is 96% water. That's basically the whole liver. And the liver has over 700 functions. If your water levels even drop a bit, then you can count some of those hundreds of functions off the list. Your hydration severely impacts your energy levels. A research study found that just a 5% decrease in your fluids can lead up to 30% loss in energy. So oftentimes if you're feeling fatigued or tired, make sure hydration is, that you're getting enough hydration for the day. If you get 15% drop in fluids, that can actually be life-threatening. And if you've heard that saying, you can live 2 weeks on just water, it is true. I know some people who've even done 3 weeks on water, but you have to make sure you're in really good, healthy shape and check with your doctor before you do it. If you want to do a 2-week fast, again, just make sure that you have a medical professional helping you through it, because pure water alone can release so many toxins and you can get sick. The longest I have fasted was 3 days, and that was tough. All right, some other interesting facts about water for those who are interested in weight loss. Your liver needs water to metabolize fat into energy. A lot of people don't realize that water is the component that liver needs to process fat into glucose. So again, make sure your water uptake is high while you're on a weight loss plan. Just about 80% of our population is dehydrated. And that rings true. About 8 to 9 out of 10 people who come in, who I work with, are dehydrated. We'll go over calculations on how much water you need in just a moment, and then you can answer for yourself if you are dehydrated. Here are some very simple signs of dehydration. You're not peeing as frequently. Your urine is more of an orange tint. If it hits brown, then you should just stop everything you're doing and go drink some water. Dry skin, again, high heart rate, high blood pressure is a very common sign of dehydration. Now, if you think about it, again, your blood being over 80% water, if you have a drop in fluids, your blood becomes less diluted. It actually becomes a little more viscous. Now, if you think about the heart pumping the fluidity of water versus the fluidity of thicker water, of course, your blood pressure is going to be high because it's pumping a thicker fluid through its arteries and veins. Now, by the time you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. If you have hunger cues and it's not your normal mealtime, that's another sign of dehydration. That's the body wanting to get water from food. Headaches is a big one. I had one patient who was okay with me sharing this story, who had migraines for a decade. Okay, just imagine having a headache nonstop for a decade. All I did was change her water levels because she was in the negatives, and her headaches went away. It was that simple. So as soon as I get a headache, I know, oh, I've been neglecting my water intake. Tiredness, again, that related to that study, a 30% drop from dehydration. Constipation is a big one. You need fluids to help you move that poop, guys. And bad breath. All right, get your calculators out. We're going to do some calculating of exactly how much water you need. We're going to do 2 calculations. One is how much water you need if you are inactive for the day, and how much you need if you are working out that day or if you have an active job. So first one, non-active calculation. Take your body weight, divide it into 2. That's how many ounces you need. Then you're going to divide it by 8 so that you can see how many cups you need. And then that's the amount you need minimal. Now, that's granted you're at sea level. If you are up in the Rocky Mountains, like, or any altitude that's high, you are going to have to add up to a liter, which is almost up to 4 cups. So it can range from 1 to 4 cups in addition. Okay. All right. Active athletic person, take your body weight, multiply it by 0.6. That's how many ounces you need if you are active or if you're working out that day. And then divide that by 8. That's how many cups you should be drinking on a workout day. Again, add 2 to 4 more cups if you're at altitude. So in my personal example, I have a 2.5 cup difference just from sweating and being active. All right. Now compare your numbers, what you just calculated, to the answer number 1 that you just wrote in a few slides ago. Hopefully they're the same. If not, no worries. It's just a starting point of where you are and where you're going with your water intake. All right. I get a lot of moans and groans from my clients saying, Charlene, I am so sick of drinking water. It's so bland. I'm tired of it. Here's a couple of tips to increase, to make water a little more appealing and how to keep track of it. So there's a free app called Water Tracker. It's one of my favorites. There's a lot of different water trackers, but this one stands out to me. It's the silhouette of the body. You put in your weight. It gives calculation. And then every time you input water, confetti falls, happy music plays, and you feel successful just from a little water input. One habit I highly recommend, number 2, is drinking 1 to 2 cups of water as soon as you wake up. And the reason why you want to do that first thing is because water is very cleansing to the entire GI tract, which has been fasting for the entire night. And it also wakes up your metabolism, your GI tract. So 1 to 2 cups first thing in the morning. If you can leave it by your bedstand and make it a habit, then you're good to go. If you have a junk food craving, drink a cup of water first. You'll be surprised that that craving will go away. Carry a reusable stainless steel or glass bottle with you everywhere to help you keep track. Have one at work, have one at your office desk, etc. I prefer stainless steel and glass because plastic has shown to have BPA. BPA is an estrogenic compound that confuses the body and really throws off our hormones. Now, how to make water appealing. Now, the natural ingredients that you can use to infuse your water is lemon, cucumbers, mint. You can also put some citrus in there. Herbal teas is another easy way to get a lot of a higher water intake. And then as you see on number 5, the last 2 words there, Ultima and Nun, those are sugar-free electrolyte powders that is sweetened by stevia, which is a sweet herb. It is natural, it's an electrolyte. I'm not being sponsored to say it. Those are my personal favorites for working out and to give your water a little bit of flavor. You can find those at any health food store. And the last one is to decrease your caffeine intake. Now, a lot of people don't realize how diuresing and how dehydrating coffee is. Sorry, coffee lovers, but this is the reality. For every 1 cup of coffee you drink, you're actually peeing out and pulling out an additional 2 cups of water. Same with tea, but only 1 cup. So your number 2, how many cups of coffee you drink, I want you to add up how many cups you are diuresing. Whatever that number is, you're going to take it off the total of number 1. And that's how much you're really holding in terms of water. If you're in the negatives, no worries. From this point on, you're going to bring it up to the positive. If it's lower than your minimum, again, don't worry. That's just a starting point. This is a wake-up call. All right, whole foods. Now, the recommended amount of servings of fruits and vegetables per day is 5. That is the American amount. But I want to share the optimal amount that some of the healthiest people in the world are doing, which is the centenarians. If you're familiar with a blue zone, that is a location that has a high concentration of people that live over 100. And I studied this during grad school. It was like my favorite topic. And I wrote papers and magazine articles just on this. So the 4 places that I researched was Okinawa, Japan, the Nicoyan Peninsula of Costa Rica, Loma Linda, California. We've got one here in the United States. It's a vegetarian community. And Sardinia Island in Italy. What they all have on average in terms of the nutrition commonalities is that they eat over 8 to 9 servings of vegetables a day. That's basically crowding out your everything you eat with fruits and vegetables. So just to clarify, because you're going to start keeping track of how many fruits and vegetables you eat on a daily basis. For vegetables, 1 raw serving is 1 cup for vegetables, and half a cup of cooked vegetables is 1 serving. I have to stress, when you are cooking your vegetables, do not cook it past to a soggy point. You want to keep a little bit of crisp in it. By doing so, you retain the nutrition, unless it's something like a potato where you have to have it completely soft and mushy. For fruit, it's about a medium-sized apple. When it comes to comparing and contrast, or comparing which is going to be a better, healthier fruit or vegetable for me, the big giveaway is the amount of fiber. How do you know if it's got more fiber? It's because it takes longer to chew and swallow. So, for instance, you got a bok choy versus a potato. Of course, the bok choy is going to take longer to chew. broccoli versus peas. You're going to chew broccoli a lot longer. It's got more grit. It's got that bulk. And that is the fiber that's going to help lower cholesterol, regulate your bowels, help that constipation pass through, etc. The benefits, like I mentioned for fiber, it lowers cholesterol. You want to think of fiber as these really small sponges, and that you never digest it. It goes straight through your body. And what it does, it absorbs cholesterol from unhealthy foods, usually animal products. It is bulk, so it's going to help you poop out. And it also absorbs toxins, invasive organisms such as gut bacteria, gut parasites, etc. So this is another reason why you want to choose whole foods during a time of a pandemic, because it's going to help keep your gut healthy. And one of the symptoms of COVID is digestive distress. Another reason why you want to pick whole foods in its most natural forms is because it has way more vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and phytonutrients. And those last two I mentioned are anti-cancerous. They're anti-aging as well. They prevent aging of the cells. Whole foods are way more easier to digest and natural. So if you're going to compare how you feel after you ate a salad versus how you feel after some In-N-Out, you know, it's a no-brainer there. All right, here are some simple ways to get more fruits and vegetables into your diet. Smoothies is by far the easiest. It tricks your brain into thinking you're intaking a lot less and you're chewing a lot less vegetables. So here are some examples based on trial and error of what has the least impact on flavor for vegetables and what has the most impact for nutrition and flavor for smoothies. So spinach romaine spring mix, the easiest, least palatable in a smoothie. I tried kale, I tried arugula, ugh. So just stick with those three. You can also put cucumbers, avocados, kiwis, bananas, and berries are a big home run hitter for smoothies. Berries, especially because it is low in sugar. It's not going to spike your blood pressure. Very high in antioxidants. Those are considered superfoods, and anti-cancerous. Also loaded with fiber. You can get up to 4 servings in a smoothie. Granted, it's one of those big 24 ounces. A salad as an entree is also another easy way to get at least 3 to 4 servings of vegetables in. When you are cooking your dishes, try to add in more vegetables, again, not to the point where it's soggy. And when you're eating out, always order a side of veggies. If you're at a steakhouse, get the densest fibrous vegetables such as broccoli. If you're at a noodle or dumpling house, order a side of green beans or some cucumbers. If you pair a vegetable with a meat, that vegetable is going to absorb the cholesterol of the meat. Doesn't even go in you, it passes right through. That is a trick. Take it home with you. Now, this is how I get over 10 servings of vegetables and fruits a day. I have this crazy mission to live over 102, so I'm following the centenarians. I'm not OCD like this every day, but this is probably about 4 days out of the week. So breakfast smoothie, I knock out 4 vegetables. Salad as an entree, that's like 2 or 3 right there. For snacks, I always have the freshest fruit in season. And then for dinner, it's a 50% non-starchy vegetable, 25% protein, 25% carbohydrates. Now, potatoes, peas, corn, all go under the carbohydrate section, even though it's a vegetable. That percentage of macronutrient ratios, you see the 50, 25, 25, that is the idea ratio for diabetics, but I personally recommend that to everybody because that ratio does not spike your blood pressure. It keeps you satiated and full, and it keeps your energy levels nice and keel, and you get a lot of vegetables that way. All right, superfoods. So these are the foods that I recommend all you viewers and all my patients to really load up on, even though COVID-19 isn't completely out of the picture yet. It's high vitamin C foods. So as you can see for fruits, it's basically any citrus. Mangoes and strawberries are next up on the list as in terms of absorbable, bioavailable vitamin C. There's tons of vitamin C rich vegetables, and you want to max out on these. I make sure since COVID started that I always pick at least 2 of these when I'm grocery shopping. Little trick for tomatoes. Tomatoes, you get more nutrition from if you cook it. Same with carrots, okay? Carrots and tomatoes, healthier if it's cooked. Antimicrobial superfoods, everything you see listed below is the ancient style of antibiotics. Everything you see there can kill a variety of bacteria, virus, parasites, etc. They're good for boosting the immune system, even if you have a common cold. Ginger, garlic, and green onions are staples in the Asian diet, so we already have a little bit of an advantage incorporating these foods in our dishes. Ginger, I would say, is the biggest booster at the moment. It does something with the body's energy, qi, where it boosts it up and really gets your immune system going. Garlic is very therapeutic for the qi in the lungs. A lot of Chinese people are taking advantage of that. Garlic was sold out for weeks here in Colorado Springs, but that is a big one. You want to get a lot of that in your diet. And turmeric, which is an Indian spice, you can get that in a lot of curries, is shown to kill H. pylori, a bacteria that causes stomach ulcers. It's also antibacterial. You definitely want to be taking that during this time because, again, a symptom of COVID is digestive distress. And oregano oil, if you ever use oregano oil, use it with the utmost cautious respect because it is very, very dangerous if you use it the wrong way. Okay, here are some supplements that I recommend during the pandemic or if you are borderline sick. Vitamin D is absolutely essential. I read a study that I wish I put into the slide about the vitamin D3 serums found in people who passed away from COVID versus people who survived. And the amount of vitamin D in those who survived was higher. So vitamin D, unless you are half naked in the sun for at least 20 minutes with no SPF, you need to be taking vitamin D. Zinc is another essential nutrient. It has been shown to be antiviral. So I put together these packages when COVID-19 started, these immune boosters. I included vitamin D, zinc, and sold out immediately. So again, zinc, vitamin D are the utmost essential. Some good secondary ones are selenium, vitamin A, C, E, and B complex. And I also recommend you start taking a probiotic now. Refrigerated is going to be much more potent and concentrated than the shelf-stable ones. Again, you want to build your gut flora up because if you've got a virus coming into your gut, you have a strong immune system in the gut. Quick fact about supplements. The supplement market is not regulated. The FDA will only investigate a product if someone dies, all right? So be careful where you buy your supplements. I highly recommend you buy them from a health food store, such as Whole Foods, Sprouts, just to name a few. Trader Joe's isn't really a health food store. So when you go into these stores, you can look at the different brands that they carry, and then you can turn around and buy them on Amazon. I don't recommend the store brands. They're usually not as good quality. No offense, Whole Foods and Sprouts, but that's the truth. Here are some of the recommended brands that I have worked with that I carry at my practice. Not all of these here, but those 5 there have a pretty good reputation. And if I needed anything and I didn't have anything around and I'm traveling, then those are the ones that I would go for. I'm not sponsored to say those are my personal preferences. Here are some really common sense do's and don'ts, but I have to constantly remind people because people's coping mechanism is to emotionally eat. And that means you're doing everything that's going to weaken your immune system. So eat a variety of whole foods in season in its most natural form. What you don't want to do is all of the following that will, again, weaken your immune system. Overeating weakens your digestion. Eating late at night weakens the immune system. chemically processed, highly refined foods basically have no nutrition in it. Eating foods that you suspect is gives you a low-grade allergenic response or food sensitivity test, again, is weakening the immune system. And these tend to be dairy, wheat, sugar, just to name a few. Any type of pro-inflammatory food weakens the immune system. So just an example again, okay, listed down there, red meat, sugar, dairy, wheat. It's all the good stuff, right? Unfortunately, the more palatable, the more unhealthy, the more pro-inflammatory. Okay, so just to wrap up, this is everything we talked about. Majority of the information I have on the handout. Again, maybe Marika or Nick can share it with you afterwards. If not, then you can contact me and I'd be happy to share that with you. Okay, just a couple of quotes to put things into perspective. Now, some of you treat your car better than you treat your body. You put the best quality fuel, in your car, you put the best quality wax, and then you turn around and you eat flaming hot Cheetos. So the point is to put into perspective that your body, you only get one. You need to treat that as an exotic sports car, as something very sacred and as a tool. The better you treat your body, the better it will take care of you, and you will see the results later in life. Also, I highly recommend you really get on to eating healthy and exercising and doing everything possible to stay healthy right now. A lot of people have this herd mentality that they're just going to fall off the bandwagon because everybody else is. And the truth is, health can be contagious. So all of you as leaders, if you take up these responsibilities and have your family, your friends, your colleagues see what you're doing, they're going to jump on that bandwagon too. And that makes everyone's health is elevated. Okay, I have a couple of health package offers. The first one is a 5-week custom health coaching session. And that is first done with an 2-hour in-person session where I really get to learn your body. And I do that with food sensitivity testing, looking for nutrient deficiencies, what minerals and vitamins you're deficient in, along with testing the chi of your organs and your glands, along with looking at a 10-page questionnaire. And once I get an idea of what your body wants and what it's deficient in, then we get to work. There's a $300 supplement credit, everything that I will be recommending that I feel you're deficient in, access to unlimited resources and tools of everything I have written in terms of therapeutic diets, customized diets, grocery shopping guides, snack sheets, and more. There's also a meditation class that I guide virtually every other week, and most of all, the accountability. Now, my approach towards accountability is encouragement and positivity, but I'm also a no-nonsense type of coach. If we're going to get things done, then I will make sure that I coach with an iron fist. All right, so this offer is $21.50 for 5 weeks. The second one is 15 weeks for just a little over double the price. It's just a little more time, but just about everything you see on there is the same as the first package. I can only offer this to 10 people because there is only one of me and my practice is really busy during summer. This will be good till in 5 days. Again, I do have to screen candidates because if I don't feel that you have the level of commitment and dedication, then I don't want to waste your time or money or my time. If you'd like to host a nutrition talk, there's a couple of topics that are very popular at the moment. A big one rising on the list is the secrets of the centenarians, how to eat your way to living towards 100. Okay, well, I hope you all learned a thing or two. I hope this motivates you to cover at least your foundations of what will make you healthy. Reach out if you have any questions or if you're interested in a package. Also check out my new YouTube channel, Charlene Wong Wellness. I upload nutrition holistic videos and guided meditations. Thank you so much for inviting me, Marnika and Nick. This was a pleasure. And again, I hope you all have learned something and will take it with you in life.
Okay, thank you for joining us, Charlene. Is there any questions for Charlene in the chat that we have for her, or is everybody good for right now? We'll send information about the handout a little bit later. I'm trying to find it in your email, Charlene. I don't think I got it in your email, Charlene, the handout yet.
Okay, well, I will send that to you, and perhaps you can email it out to everybody who joined us tonight.
Okay.
I see a couple of questions. Do you want me to answer them now or wait till after Asia's done?
We can answer them now, and then Asia can go on. There are a couple questions about what is the best way? What is the best way to approach talking to someone in your household that doesn't eat healthy and drinks a lot of energy drinks?
Oh, well, the numbers should show in their lab values. Energy drinks is one of the #1 causes for triglycerides. A good way to approach them is in a very loving way, a very concerned way. Look, honey, I read that energy drinks does this to your triglycerides, blah, blah, blah. I really care about you. I don't want to see this happen. And then you list all the diseases that are going to become of this unhealthy kind of eating. And the list is very, very long when it comes to energy drinks. You stress out your adrenal glands, your triglycerides go up, your liver starts to become compromised. So again, out of concern and a little bit of a scare tactic of the diseases that are going to follow and the medications and the surgery that has to come. I hope that answered your question.
Hope so. And what is it about red meat or animal meat that is problematic?
So red meat is shown across the board with studies to be pro-inflammatory, to be correlated with heart disease. Because it's pro-inflammatory, it inflames all of the organs that it passes through. It's also one of the hardest foods to digest. Now that's red meat, which is beef and pork. Better options for meats is your white meats, chicken, turkey, fish, just to name a few. Now cholesterol comes from all animal products, but there are better and there are worse, and red meat is way down there on the bottom of the list in terms of benefits. It's just too bad it's so good.
One more question. How do you break someone's sugar habit?
Oh, good question. So first thing you do is you tell that person, or if it's you watching, you replace all of your sugars with your favorite fruits. First thing you do is replace everything with fruits that have high water content, more nutrition in it, and it will begin to curb it. You have to start cold turkey though, because sugar actually activates certain parts of the brain as cocaine and hard narcotics does. So of course you're going to create this sugar addiction. But as soon as you clear everything out, cold turkey, introduce fruits into your life as your source of fruits, it's going to be a much healthier, much easier transition. Then you slowly start to cut down on the fruits. Typically, if you've got a sugar addiction, that could be a gut infection. That could be a lack of calories earlier in the day that you're not getting. And that could be, again, the addiction of certain parts of the brain that are stimulated to tell you more.
Okay. Well, thank you, Charlene, for joining us.
Pleasure.
It was a pleasure to have you. We'll send you the testimonials and whatever we're going to send you, we'll send it to you. If you can send us the handouts via the email, that would be great. So
sure.
I checked in my email and I didn't see them there.
I will do that right now.
All right. Thank you, dear.